Welcome everyone to part 2 of my How to Play Hearts of Iron 4 tutorial series. Today we're going to be going over just plain and simply diplomacy, how to talk with other nations, how you can declare war on them, and we're going to go over decisions real quick because this is the Cornflakes update and I'm pretty sure that's when they added decisions, but they're a fun thing to play around with whenever they were added. But let's go ahead and get into it real quick. So we're still playing as the UK. And let's say I want to talk to France. I want to get them to join the Allies. Well, all you have to do to talk to a country or see details about them is right-click on them. So I'm going to do that right now. So there's a quick overview, how much we like them, how much they like us. You see their national focus, their political pie chart. You click on details. These are all their attributes, like their military strength and all of their factory assets. And then you go back to diplomacy. Here are options we can commit to. Now you might notice some are grayed out, some cost political power, some are green. It's kind of a jumbled mess, but as you play the game, these options will open up and change. And for now, we have no political power since we haven't started the game, so there's nothing we can really commit to now. But this is basically how you would improve relations with them, how you'd sign non-aggression pacts, and send volunteers if they're at war. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you can see invite to faction. Let's say I wanted to add them to the allies. Well, it says we need world tension at 80%. Now, what is world tension? And that's the reason we can't do it, because of world tension. But world tension, essentially, I'll go up and show you. Go ahead and close France out. Up here in the top right is a globe. Now, it says 0%. This is our world tension meter. When I click on it, you might notice there's a history box. Now, as things go down in history, as events such as wars and annexations occur, like if Germany annexed Czechoslovakia and Austria, world tension would increase because the world is slowly catching on fire and becoming unhinged. So those would fill up the history here. Now in this tab you could view who starts the world tension, but you can also click current wars and see that Italy is at war with Ethiopia down in Africa here. But I'm going to close that out now. World tension is basically a bar that prevents democracies and non-aligned countries, such as, democracies such as us, we're a democracy, from joining wars or getting involved in conflict before the world gets too, caught on fire. What I mean by that is, so let's say a war broke out, let's say World War II broke out, and you're a democratic country, my bad, sorry. But let's say you're a democratic country, you'd have to wait for world tension to get really high before you can join, because your population's got to be on board and understand that the war is very, very vital to your survival. Because typically people don't want to go to war when they can vote against a war. But that should be it on world tension. And now we're going to quickly go over decisions. So it's the button in the top left here. So as I click it, you may notice there's a few options here. They all cost political power. These are all just extra actions you can commit to, along with your typical policies. Now, these spice up the government quite a bit, because government's a little stale without these. But you can improve the worker conditions, increase stability, but decrease factory output, or you could give refuge to German scientists. All this stuff like that is fun to play around with, and they will update and change throughout the game, so keep an eye on them. So finally, one more detail I forgot to go over is to view diplomacy at any time. There's a button up here with a hand open for a handshake. You click that, that's your diplomacy button. So we went back to where we were talking to France. But down at the bottom there's an open country list button. I'll click that. Now, plain and simply, this is how you view every country in the world. You can filter it, say just Africa or Asia or something. But there's also a diplomacy map down in the bottom right. I'm going to go ahead and click it. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of green and blue on the map. Now, what that means is all the green is our territory, all the blue are puppets or colonies. And then finally, we can also click the star under it. This is the factions map mode. This is how you view the different factions in the game. So we've got the Allies and the Axis in common turn right now. So that should be it for this video. I hope you learned something about diplomacy or decisions. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. So keep an eye out for part 3.